Alright, this tutorial is going to show how to convert between grams and moles. So our first example says, how many grams are in 3.00 moles of water? Okay, underneath that, I reworded the question. It says, what is the mass of 3.00 moles of water? In both of these questions, it is asking for the same thing. So remember, we use grams to measure mass. So both of these questions are asking the exact same thing. If you are asked to find the mass, you are looking for grams. Okay. So you're asked to find grams, and you have 3.00 moles of water. Okay, so because the question is asking about grams, we need to find the molar mass of water. Okay, so you have H2O, it's water. So hydrogen, molar mass is 1, and there are 2 hydrogens. Okay, oxygen, the molar mass is 16. Okay, remember I get these values from your periodic table, and there's just 1 oxygen, so times 1. Okay, so I multiplied 1 times 2 to get the mass of the 2 hydrogen. I multiplied 16 times 1 to get the mass of oxygen, and now I need to add those together. Okay, and the answer is 18 grams per mole. Okay, so just like the unit conversions when we did metric conversions, we're going to start by writing the given. Okay, the given is 3.00 moles of water. 3.00 moles water. Alright, so now I'm going to multiply 3 moles of water by the conversion factor. Okay, so the conversion factor here is 18 grams of water equals 1 mole of water. I'll rewrite that up here. 18 grams of water equals 1 mole of water. Okay, so I have moles of water on the top. Okay, so that means that moles of water has to go on the bottom. We're talking about 1 mole of water. The mass is 18 grams. Okay, so remember we were looking for the mass of water. We're given the moles of water. We know that there are 18 grams in 1 mole. Okay, we found this by calculating the molar mass of water. Okay, so if we know that 18 grams equals 1 mole of water, we have 3 moles of water, we're just going to multiply that. Okay, so again, whenever we're doing conversion problems, you multiply the numbers on the top, divide by the numbers on the bottom. Okay, we made sure that we had moles of water on the bottom, since moles of water was on the top here, so that they cancel out. And you multiply 3 times 18, which is 54. Okay, whichever unit you have left up here, that's the unit that you are left with. So you have 54 grams of water. Okay, so you take a look back at the question. It said how many grams are in 3 moles of water. Okay, so you make sure that you solved for the right thing. We found the mass of water. All right. In the next example, the question asks, how many moles are in 222 grams of calcium hydroxide? Okay, we are looking for moles, and we have grams, or the mass, of calcium hydroxide. Okay, we need to find the molar mass so that we have a conversion factor. Okay, in the molar mass video, I showed you that you can distribute this 2, or think about it as Ca and 2 OHs. Okay, so please see the previous video on calculating molar mass for further explanation on that. So calcium, molar mass is 40, oxygen 16, and hydrogen 1. Okay, we have 1 calcium, we have 2 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen. So 40 times 1 is 40, 16 times 2 is 32, 1 times 2 is 2, and when you add that up, you get 74 grams per mole. Okay, in other words, there are 74 grams of CaOH2 in 1 mole of CaOH2. Okay, so by definition, when we look at the periodic table and we find the mass, that is the number of grams in 1 mole. Okay, so we start by writing the given information. 222 grams of CaOH2. If I have grams of CaOH2 on top, we know that grams of CaOH2 is going on the bottom. Okay, so that's never a trick question. If I ask you what unit goes on the bottom, it should always be the same unit that you had on the top. So we know that there are 74 grams CaOH2 in 1 mole of CaOH2. Okay, so notice, in the first example, I put the mass on the top. In the second example, the mass went on the bottom. Okay? The way you decide which goes on the top and which goes on the bottom is based on your given information. So in this case, I was given the mass and I was asked to find moles. We know that every 74 grams of CaOH2 is equal to 1 mole of CaOH2, or calcium hydroxide. Okay? So you multiply the numbers on the top. 222, oops, let's cancel out our units. Okay, that's why we put this one on the bottom, so they would cancel. 222 times 1 divided by 74. Okay, so 222 divided by 74. I know that I divide by 74 because it's on the bottom. You multiply the numbers on the top and you divide by the numbers on the bottom. So 222 divided by 74 equals 3. Let's do correct significant figures here. Our given information had 3 sig figs, so my answer should also have 3. So I have 3.00 moles of calcium hydroxide.